Look at my gum now.
Who's doing roll call?
Catherine, can you do roll call for me? Or do you know? Okay, that's fine. I can do it.
Okay, great. Let me know when you press play.
It is on.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Opportunity Academy Governance Council meeting. My name is Dr. Jessica Bonduras, and I'll be facilitating this meeting and calling the meeting to order. So welcome, everyone. We will start with roll call. Director Morales, will you do roll call, please?
Yes, Dr. Bonduras is here. Dr. Brooks.
Here.
Ms. Joelle Henson.
Here.
Mr. Derek Clark. Present. Mrs. Courtney Portell is not with us today. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will then go to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
I motion that we adopt the agenda.
Motion.
I second.
Ms. Hanson, seconded by Mr. Clark. Thank you. And now I will open it to public comments. Director Morales, are there any public comments?
There are no public comments, Dr. Bonduras.
Okay, great. Moving on to consent action items. Our first item, our only consent action, is the motion to approve the minutes from our not so long ago, May 12th meeting.
I motion we approve the minutes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Very good. All right. And we'll move on to our informational item. I would like Dr. Everett to share some good news about one student in particular today, because I think we could all use some good news right now. So Dr. Everett, please share the good news.
Thank you, Dr. Bonduras. This time of year, about every day or every other day, we have a graduate. And so today we did have a graduate. This student joined us in September of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic with 10 credits. And so he was able to graduate today. And so we're super excited that he's being added to our OYA graduates, and we'll be at our graduation on June 9th.
So thank you. Yay. Thanks for sharing the good news. All right. For informational items, before we go to Director Morales' presentation on the LCAP, the first item is the resolution to continue meeting remotely in accordance with AB 361. And this is an informational item that we will see now on all of our agendas, and it just gives us the ability to meet remotely. We don't need to take action on it. It is already actionized per Dr. Dewan, but I'm going to be including it in our informational items. Okay. And there's 2 attachments to that as well. So our big item for today is Director Morales is going to review the 2022-2023 LCAP. And there's a presentation, and after the presentation, we'll have time for questions.
Thank you, Dr. Bonduras.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. Of course. Here we go. So good evening, Governance Council members, staff, and members of the public. This evening, I will be presenting our annual update for our 2021-22 LCAP and plan summary for our 22-23 LCAP. This slide shows the 8 state priorities that all school districts must address in their local control accountability plan, also known as the LCAP. And in the next several slides, I will be reviewing our LCAP. The LCAP template includes the budget overview for parents, which is presented as a cover to the plan. And this year, the template is a bit unique as we have to include the supplement to the annual update for our 2021-22 LCAP. which was board approved and presented in February. In the LCAP annual update, our goals, actions, and services are addressed as to whether we met our goals or fell short during the year. And the next section, our LCAP plan summary, which will be covered in more detail in the next coming slides. Educational partners is the next section, followed by our goals and action services for the 22-23 school year. Our LCAP also addresses the increased and improved services for our students who are foster youth, low income, and or English learners. And the next slides will address these sections in more detail. As part of the LCAP process, the annual budget overview for parents is required. And the purpose of this document is to help parents understand their local control funding formula, also known as the LCFF, and LCAP budget. So the budget overview for parents contains charts and narratives designed to show the amount of funds a local education agency, also known as LEA, expects to receive, how much the LEA plans to spend overall, what the LEA budgeted to spend in the prior year on the LCAP to increase or improve services for high need students, and what the LEA actually spent. And the budget overview for parents is designed to be presented as a cover to the LEA's annual LCAP. Our LCAP annual update gave us the opportunity to analyze our goals and actions. And through this process, we identified successes and focus areas throughout this school year. Successes that I would like to highlight include increased capacity for students in use of technology tools, increased support and mental health services for students, parents and staff, sustained student enrollment and engagement, increased graduation rate, and growth in proficiency on the LPAC. Focus areas that we identified centered on parent and community engagement, college and career readiness, and improved math and reading proficiency. The LCAP template includes a plan summary that illustrates the major components of the plan in a concise manner. So within the summary, the different areas of the LCAP are addressed, which provides the reader with information on the accomplishments and areas of continued focus and growth in the coming school year. And the summary describes for educational partners the essence of the LCAP and details our successes and progress on the state priorities and the local measures. Throughout the 2021 school year, we engage educational partners to provide feedback on our goals, actions, and services. The LCAP was discussed at a governance council meeting, for example, our school site council meetings, English language advisory committee meetings, staff meetings, parent meetings, and the annual LCAP survey, which is very helpful, which was completed by our students and parents and our staff members. Additionally, our LCAP was reviewed by Shelley Odo, Director of Southeast SELPA. Our educational partners have provided clear feedback that the goals targeted in our LCAP continue to be relevant and challenging. And our goals, which will be discussed in detail next, are the best educational opportunities for all of our students. The OYA LCAP goals are derived after thoughtful analysis of the California School Accountability Dashboard data and local measures. Although we continue to experience growth in most areas, for the 22-23 year, we will continue to focus on college and career readiness, graduation rates, the performance of English learners, and the performance of math and reading proficiencies. And currently, we are seeing growth in graduation rates by 17% for all students, but also for student groups. English learners have increased proficiency by at least 11% on the LPAC, and increases in standards met or exceeded on both CAS math 6.25%, and on the LEA 11%. So our first goal ensures that students are provided a well-rounded academic program, which leads to high school graduation and prepared for college and career. Goal 1 addresses the basic academic needs of all students. And Goal 1 actions and services include support for staff collaboration on best teaching practices and implementation of academic programming, as well as additional professional development and training for teaching ethnic and environmental studies and the seal of civic engagement, and provide group or individual tutoring sessions for students to help develop academic and social emotional skills. Our second goal ensures that English learners are provided a well-rounded academic program, which leads to high levels of academic language and achievements at all levels of English proficiency. Goal 2 addresses the basic academic needs of literacy for students who receive English learner services. And Goal 2 actions and services include support for staff on best teaching practices and implementation of academic programming, as well as additional support for standards-based instruction in the area of English language development and professional development in the areas of blended learning strategies, universal design for learning, differentiation instruction, and collaborative planning and problem solving. Goal 3 ensures students complete a high school diploma and are prepared to transition to college, trade school, or careers. And Goal 3 actions and services include professional development and training to increase site team capacities, to develop high quality student self-assessment, career exploration, and work-based learning opportunities for all of our learners. Additionally, make available to students career tech education classes at Silicon Valley Career Tech Education, provide a job training program, paid internships, and hire a work-based learning coordinator who will combine and coordinate a work-based learning continuum that helps students develop knowledge, skills, attitudes, and work habits so they can move successfully into post-secondary opportunities. And our Goal 4 ensures that OYA community, including staff, students, and parents, establish community outreach and support for student work production. And 2 main areas to be addressed are increased student services and mental health and wellness for students and staff, and create a more culturally responsive school program. Goal 4 actions and services include a full-time mental health therapist who will provide a multi-tiered level of mental health services and wellness and resources to staff, families, and students, and a foster youth intake manager who will collaborate with school and staff and provide technical and planning services for implementation of data-driven programs and projects. Additionally, school resources and activities are planned to improve our community outreach and recruitment, including family and community engagement events at all OYA sites. So that is my short presentation, and I hope you've had an opportunity to look at the LCAP that has many of the details in terms of the action steps and services. Included in this PowerPoint are all of the action and services under goal that you can certainly review if you'd like, but I am open now to take any of your questions or comment or feedback that you may have. Thank you.
Phil, I had a not so much of a feedback. So if I understand it correctly, for OYA, the revenue that's coming in is around 3 million. The operating cost is around 5 million. And so to supplement those extra $2 million funds, is that coming out of some other pot of money at the county? And if so, is there like a plan for the future to maybe have that supplemented by maybe, some other company or some other foundation like in Silicon Valley, maybe, to kind of take up that cost to relieve the burden off of the Office of Education?
Right. No, that's a great question, Derek. So you are correct. The revenue actually is roughly 4 million. The expenditures is around 5 million plus. So the general fund contribution, that's that kind of stopgap that we receive, that funding we receive from the County Office of Ed, is roughly 1.2 in general fund contributions. We do and will look at grants and trying to find grants that we could use instead of having to pull from the general fund. particularly in areas of like our goal 3, which is around college and career, or excuse me, yeah, it's around college and career, but looking at like some of our career tech education and support, something that we did talk to Joelle and looking at possibly writing a grant for seed take funds is one possibility. But certainly there are ways that we can pull in other revenue through grant funding. I'm not sure about partnerships with CEOs or agencies like that. That would help. I think we would have to look at grant funding as the way to go. And then also is increasing our ADA. So making sure, and that's really a huge piece of this, is making sure that we are engaging all of our students and that we are collecting ADA on 100% of the students that we are eligible to collect, which are right now it's 28-1. So if a teacher has a roster of 38 students, we want to be sure that we're collecting ADA or attendance rather for 28 of those 38 students, and that would be 100% attendance, which we can collect on. Did that answer your question, Derek?
Yes, it did. Yeah,
Okay.
that was pretty good. And I like the part about when you talked about that Joelle has identified some ways for you guys to like expand your revenue, because I see similar programs like OYA that's actually growing in that direction, basically where they're looking at that alternative funding on the back end of their students being involved in internships, well, whatever that may be. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are some, and I'm glad you brought that up. So, and there are some ways that we are looking at to reduce some of the costs. So for example, I know our career labs that we have a contract with, and we pay a certain amount to be in contract with Europe, right, that provide career labs. Next year will be our last year working with them, and then we kind of take over facilitating those labs, which will then be a no cost. So there are ways that we're kind of pulling things back and that we won't have to pay for, which then will reduce our expenditures as well.
I think also to highlight for this year, Derek and the rest, there were significant funding sources that we received in the form of ELO, the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant, and Educator Effectiveness and the like, that we were able to use to really supplement our program and provide some extras. And some of them carry us for a couple of years. Any other questions?
Wow, that was that good, huh? Well, just so you know that we will present this LCAP and the PowerPoint at a public hearing on June 2nd at the OYA board meeting with Dr. Dewan. And then it will be in public hearing for until June 16th, where Dr. Dewan or the board will take action and adopt that agenda or adopt the LCAP. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or feedback. That would be great.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time. I know we don't normally meet twice. So thank you very much for making yourself available, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. It's always nice to see Phil and all of you again.
The same way.
You need a
Bye,
motion to adjourn?
thanks.
All right, guys. We'll see you
Bye.
guys later.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Phil?
Let me just stop. Okay,